Hey guys, it's Kevin again. This is going to be my review for Orphan Black Season 2, Episode 8. What was this episode called? Let's go to TV show tracker. Variable and full of perturbation. And this episode, just wow. By far the best episode of the season. I mean, every episode is getting better and better, and this episode was just as good. I did have one problem with this episode, which I'll talk about. But overall, it was the best episode of the season, and I really, really did love it. Alright, so let's get to this episode. So we met a new clone in this episode, believe it or not, Tony. Tony, though, is much different from the other clones, because Tony is not very much like all we know is that, the episode started off right away with this huge, car chase. He's running from the cops with his partner, Sammy. And his partner in crime, Sammy, he unfortunately is dying, so that's not good. He then gets gunned down by mysterious suits, and his dying words, which are really, really important, he tells Tony that he must find Beth Childs. So that's huge, because, pretty much we think, wait a second, is Beth alive here? And the question is, how does Sammy know Beth? We're not exactly sure. It does have something to do with Paul, which of course is Beth's ex-monitor. And after Sammy's death, Tony then calls Beth's phone. He doesn't know that Beth is dead, of course. He doesn't know that. So, then Art has the phone, just in case it rings. And Art is in disbelief when Tony comes strolling in, saying he's got a secret message for Beth. And he brings him to Felix's house until they can figure out what to do. And basically, him and Felix, they are talking and everything. And for most of the episode, Felix is talking to Tony. And he's got all of Sarah's worst qualities. And overall, I didn't really like Tony's character, I have to say. I didn't think he was that interesting of a character. And basically, I just didn't think he was that interesting, in my opinion. I liked where they went with it. I mean, him and Felix it was pretty interesting. I mean, it was funny to see Felix play off of him. But overall, I didn't find Tony that interesting. I don't know why. I did not find him interesting very much at all. I don't know. He was not that interesting of a character to me. And I just didn't find him that interesting, as I said. I didn't think he was that interesting. So honestly, I understand, yes, he's a transvestite. He used to be called, Antoinette. His name used to be Antoinette, and we don't know too much about him, so I'm thinking we are going to find out more about him, but in the meantime, he's really not that interesting. All he does is, shoot, testosterone, because he wants to stay a man, so he refuses to spill the message because he doesn't trust any of them, until Felix brings Sarah in, because he wants to know something about Tony. And Tony confronts Sarah. We find out that Tony is, Sarah's Tony's sister, actually, which is pretty big. And he finally relents and shares Sammy's words, which are, tell Beth, keep the faith. Paul's like me, he's on it, and he's a ghost. That basically doesn't tell us anything. The only other hint we receive is that Sammy, who is probably Tony's monitor, is ex-military, as was Paul, and they got most of their jobs from his military contacts. So the question is, how are they connected? And the thing is, we don't know, because Paul's taken off, and Rachel can't even track him down now, so I really don't know what's going on there. But overall, what did I think of Tony's plot? I don't know. I don't really know what to think of this guy right now. All I know is that he shoots testosterone, and we don't know too much about his character, so I really don't know what you think about Tony right now. I really don't know. So let's go to Sarah. Sarah definitely had a really interesting plot in this episode. Really, really great stuff with Sarah in this episode. So Sarah, as far as Sarah was going, she is a little busy dealing with the increasingly, with Ethan, who, of course, the creator of the clone experiment, the only one who could possibly cure the deadly respiratory illness that could kill off the clones. And, of course, Cosima's symptoms are getting a lot worse, so Delphine is desperate to get Ethan in the lab to start working on a cure, because it's getting worse and worse for Cosima. Now, Ethan is still staying with Sarah and Mrs. S, so Delphine pays a visit and implores Sarah to help. First, she tells her that Dr. Leakey is dead, and she doesn't really seem to care, actually, because Leakey has been hiding important information about the clone origins, and so Ethan is the only one that has the key for the gene therapy cure. So they don't really care that Leakey's dead, because Leakey, they can't trust him. So even though they've been using stem cells from Sarah's daughter Kira's baby teeth to work on other possible cures, Ethan would not involve Kira at all, which Sarah's very suspicious. She doesn't exactly believe him at first. Once she learns Kira won't have to be involved, though, she then takes Ethan to Dyad, where he has another unpleasant run-in with Rachel. And again, Rachel doesn't really care that Leaky's dead either, and she tells everyone he had a heart attack on his private jet, and is basically emotionless when she comes face-to-face with her father, telling him she wants him to keep their relationship professional if he's going to be working in the lab. I actually liked Rachel in this episode. I know I've said I don't really like Rachel, but, you know, this is actually getting me to care more for Rachel, so I like that in this episode. They got us to care a little bit more for Rachel. They do have one curious conversation, though, because after Ethan says he can help cure Cosima, he says the child is still the prize, isn't she? And Ethan asks Rachel, and she says, little Kira? And Rachel doesn't answer and turns the tables on him. Why Sarah, of all of us? Why is it the unmonitored tramp is successful, she asks. And Ethan looks very confused and says, in her fertility, Rachel, she's a failure, not a success. You're all barren by design. And then we get these weird flashbacks of Rachel destroying her office. And, I mean, that was really huge right there, and we see, she says, I suppose you couldn't have created a reproducing prototype, could you? That would be irresponsible, which is unforgivable. And then she moves on, and she introduces Ethan to Delphine, because she doesn't really know what to say to him, and she says it's time for her father to start fixing his mistakes. So, that's really, interesting there. So, you know, it's really big there because, unfortunately, what ends up happening is that Cosima then meets up with Ethan. They pledge to start working on a cure for her illness, and, you know, they're ready to start a cure, but she, all of a sudden, starts, like, coughing up blood, and, like, blood is coming out of her mouth. She then faints, starts shaking violently, and it looks like her time is running out, so that's a pretty big thing. I thought Cosima was actually dead, but it looks like next week Delphine is going to try to talk to Ethan and say maybe there's a way we can restore her health, sort of. So maybe there's a way they can restore her health. We'll have to see what happens there. But overall, I thought there was a very, very strong plot. I really love Sarah's plot in this. You know, Sarah and especially Cosima. There wasn't so much with Sarah in this episode. It was definitely more Cosima and Ethan. You know, I thought that was really, really big, and I'm really looking forward to seeing where that's going to go. Let's go to Alison and Donnie. Alison and Donnie, honestly, is kind of funny in this episode. We kind of see that their marriage is starting to fall apart because Donnie was drinking, and, you know, in the episode, and, you know, Alison's like, oh, I'm tired of your shit, basically. I'm tired of what you're doing. I'm just tired of it. And she seems very unmoved by this. You know, Donnie eventually does confess to Alison that he killed Leaky, and she seems kind of unmoved by this because she did watch Ainsley die, so but apparently it turns out that Leaky's body is still in the trunk of his car, and that's a pretty big thing, you know, it's pretty big there, and we'll have to see what happens there. But overall, this episode was amazing. As I said, by far the best episode of the season. I really, really enjoyed this episode. I thought it was really, really strong. There was a lot that I really liked in this episode. I have a couple of questions, though. What is Tony hiding? There's definitely more that Tony is hiding. I don't know what it is, but there's definitely a lot more that Tony is hiding. We need to find out more about this guy. We don't know too much about him right now, so I definitely think he is definitely hiding something. I don't know what it is, but he is hiding something. I can just feel that he is hiding something. Also, the other thing I'm wondering is what is going on with, what's going to happen with Cosima? Is Cosima going to die? Do you think she's going to die? I really don't know. We'll have to see. But overall, you know, I don't know if Cosima's going to die. Is there going to be a way to, you know, possibly cure her? We'll have to see. You know, that's pretty interesting there. And also, what's going to happen with, you know, what's going to happen with Ethan and Rachel? They're not on good terms right now. We'll have to see, what happens there. And then the other big thing is somebody going to find... What's going to happen now that Leaky's body is still in the trunk of Donnie's car? Are other people going to find out? Is something bad going to happen to Donnie? I don't know. All I know is that Donnie's becoming a lot darker. We can't trust him. And I'm thinking that him and Alison are going to get a divorce. I really think they are going to. We'll have to see what happens there. I think they're probably going to get a divorce, though. So yeah, overall, I really enjoyed this episode. I thought it was really, really strong. I really, really loved it. There was so much I loved in this episode. Also, as far as Kira goes, do you think Kira's okay? I'm sure she's fine, but we'll have to see. We have 2 episodes left, we have 2 episodes left for the season, and I'm really looking forward to them, so we'll have to see what happens there. But I'll see you guys in my next video, which will be another classic movie review. I'm actually watching it right now, so I'll see you guys for that review. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but I'll see you guys for that. Okay, bye.